I'm an artist who works across a wide range of media. I'm not labelled as a textile artist or a writer or someone who uses glass or someone who makes things. I use whatever I need to use for the purposes of what I'm trying to say, and there are no boundaries in my head about what that might be. The work that I'm doing at the moment is based on a story that I wrote called The Poison Gardener, and it's sort of written in the form of a traditional tale, and it's a story of love and loss and of birth and death and ultimate renewal. So when I was asked to do some work for this exhibition, which was called Dreaming of Home, I started to imagine where the poison gardener would actually live and what her home would look like. Within the story, the tradition of the poison gardener is one where her eyelids are stitched onto her cheek so that she can't see, so that the gardener listens to the earth and senses the movements of nature and tends the garden. Therefore, the interior spaces that she would inhabit would be sensory, but in relation to how a viewer might see those looking in, they would be all in her mind's eye. And so the notion of dreaming of home, I thought, right, I'll create an interior space and spaces that reflect her thoughts and dreams. For this piece, I'm actually creating an interior, two interiors really, one playing with scale, so the tiny reflection of the poison gardener's house, but then creating a full-sized version that someone can actually sit in. I started off this work for the exhibition with the doll's house, and I was thinking, right, we need a cabinet of some sort to put all of these sort of poison bottles in. So I went out to try and find something and came across the cabinet that I'm using for this, which is quite a sort of kitsch sort of piece, but it allowed me to actually do some, I love the reflective background, there's a mirror in the back of it, which I thought would be great, create a real sort of surreal sense of depth. And then the glass doors themselves lend themselves to doing some more glass transfer printing, which I'm really into at the moment. I really like that technique. Yeah, it just seemed to fit the bill. I think it was waiting for me in the shop to give it a new life. I can't remember a time when I haven't been an artist, but I wasn't calling myself an artist when I was 5 years old or whatever, but I just have never not drawn. I've always drawn and made things. From as long as I can remember, I've been making little clothes with tiny little sewing machines and always creating. You start to think, this is something I can do. So you sort of become, to talk about yourself as an artist. I never considered myself as a writer. I discovered that when I was 50. And together, so as an artist, I've now become someone, as a visual artist, who is interested in narrative and where the narrative is very strong and in ideas and in text, and how the visual and the text work together, and that again is always sat there because I've always been a book illustrator, so I've seen myself as an illustrator, and then I did a fine art degree and moved out of illustration into a much more broader approach to expressing myself, but then come back to the whole notion of of text and image and the relationship between the two. When I'm writing, I think a lot of what I'm doing is about the surreal or the otherworldly, I think I would describe it, and therefore dream-like qualities in my writing, I think, are always there, where nothing is quite what it seems. So there must be some sense of dream quality to my work. I don't think I live in a dream world, although some people who know me might think I do. But it's lovely to actually explore the unreality and let yourself go and just let things float in some sort of ethereal space. That all sounds very sort of contrived, and I suppose it is when I'm putting language to it, but it's much more, my work's much more intuitive than that, I think. I think I'm inspired by processes often. If I have something that I need to do and I don't know how to do it, I'll find out how to do it. And then when I found out how to do it, I'm inspired by the process of doing it. And then I start pushing the boundaries of that process. I've sort of get frustrated with myself that I'm not a master in one particular technique, and I think that would be very clever and maybe that would be great. But I'm not, and I've accepted that at my age I know who I am as an artist and who I am as someone who works across a wide range of media. So it's that constant learning that is to me inspiring. So I think of the processes more than the ideas, really. Thinking about the future and where I go next, it's quite difficult for me. I love interior spaces, but then I reflect that in my home and my house, and so that's something which I'll continue to do. For this exhibition, it's the first time I've had like wallpaper or fabrics printed professionally, and to be honest, opening the packet when that fabric comes out just blows my mind, and I love it, and I think I would like to do more of that. For a recent piece of work that I've done, I've worked with someone who can transfer screen print onto glass, and then I've put transfers on top of that. That technique is really exciting, and I think I'll probably evolve that a bit more in my work for the future. I guess I want to communicate a sense of excitement because I don't know, and that's the way I like it. I don't really know what's going to happen next, but you know, it's an adventure, and it makes me smile when I think about it, and that's the way I want it to stay.